Adrian Luna!
Hi everyone, welcome to Football Path's interview with ex-Kerala Blasters FC coach Ivan Vukomanovic. It's been a long time since we have met. Today, Ivan Vukomanovic is with us to share his experience in India and Kerala Blasters FC. Welcome, sir.
It's been the 1 year
Since you have
since
left,
I left Kerala. Yeah, exactly.
But still, you're in our hearts. That's true, even though it's been like just a year. Firstly, I just want to ask, which is harder, managing a football team or answering the questions from us fans?
I'd say that neither one of those are difficult.
Oh, is it?
So it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I
Yeah.
enjoy, first of all, speaking about coaching job, I enjoy that job. I love that job because it's a kind of passing the experience and knowledge to younger generations. And this is actually the circle of life where if you know in your school time and everything, our teachers, they're first our parents educating you, and our teachers and all the people from our communities, of course, they're always educating and passing that knowledge to us because that's the circle of life. We're leaving that legacy to younger generations. So I enjoy that job. I remember me being a player, having all those coaches, listening to them, and actually it kind of created something in me, having that will to pursue that job later, to pass the knowledge and experience, because I think that it could help younger boys becoming better, not only in a football way, but also in the private life. On the other hand, answering the questions to media, to fans, it's always a pleasure because I was always honest, open-minded, and open in my expressions. So there is nothing wrong if you are honest and present in all those things. So actually, it's kind of pleasure for me.
Glad to hear that, by the way. So just want to ask about that. How did your football journey start? I mean, what was your motivation to, start footballing? What was your footballing moment?
And you are younger boys and you cannot understand, for example, your parents can tell you many of those things from our childhood. I don't know if you can even imagine living without internet, or waking up and going through your life. I'm coming from a poor background. We didn't have a lot. The only thing after school time and everything that I was finding a joy, it's like playing with your friends. And in our childhood and in our society, it was kind of, you come back home, you eat something, you do your homework, you go out. And mostly you spend your time on the streets playing many things, even inventing some games. But mostly for us, it was football, because football is being a huge part of our community, our country, not only football, but any other collective sport, because my home country was several times world and European champion in many different collective sports, getting many Olympic medals.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, when you see all those things around you, you kind of get the idols from those moments, and actually dreaming becoming one of those. And then in our hometown, of course, with the football club and everything, with your friends going around playing football or shooting the ball against the wall. It starts like that. It starts like that with the small tournament, with the school competitions, and kind of that some coaches recognize that there is a talent, which is only the starting point. And then with that talent, which is like 5% of your football journey,
Exactly.
You start practicing in one club. I was connected through the school system, because it's organized like that in our countries, where not only football clubs, but all other basketball and any other collective clubs, they go around, they visit, and they watch those school tournaments. And actually, when they scan and see some potential and some talents, they contact the teachers from a school, and actually they contact your family saying, look, there is a possibility, there is potential. in your child, and would you consider getting him into the club, because we think that he might become something serious. So that it started like that, and then after several years you realize that you are growing up into one potential sports group, playing tournaments, playing games, playing competitions, getting some nice results, and it actually attracts you a lot.
Yeah.
Which actually still you're later watching World Cups, many international games, dreaming about playing in the big stadiums, and then this is kind of something that pushes you towards your dreams. So that was the same thing with me, you know, through the school system, with the friends, within the clubs, and then later, you know, when I was younger, I was starting getting professional contracts very early, because apparently I was not that bad. And then I had 18 years of playing career all around the world, which later continued by the coaching job.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. I mean, the thing is, I mean, you said in your country the sports system was, connected through the schools as well, and that's a really good thing actually. That's something
That's
we
the
don't
only
have.
thing, you know, that's the only thing, and the only correct thing if you want to explore all the potential and all the talent. If you want, this is how, if you go and read and listen to all stories of all big players in any sport, everybody will
Yeah,
tell you quite the same story. They were starting as boys in some groups and clubs, and in many countries worldwide, this is connected with the school system, where actually in the school competitions we recognize the talent, we connect them with the clubs, and of course with the support of families, which is, I understand, and then in India especially, as a market it's not that common, because very often the parents in India, they say, why should you go and play football or any other
yeah,
sport? There is nothing in it, there is no profit in it, there is no money, you have to work, you have to sustain your family. So there are many other issues in that, but lately it is changing.
yes, it is.
And I suppose that many people will realize that through the sport you can not only make a profit, not only you can sustain and make the life easier, better for your family, but you can also grow up as a quality person, because sports is a quality industry which can actually open many doors to you for the future life, not only for you but for your family as well. So I hope that it will change drastically in India as well in the future, because all around the world we see those things, and that's why how the countries, certain countries, making results.
Yeah, that's true. I think let's move on to you.
Yeah, coach. Coach, it's common for clubs to sign players before the coach's arrival itself. Do you think this approach is effective? Like, even the player will be the best, but he might not be suited for the coach's tactics. So, do you think signing players before the coach's arrival will be good for the club?
No, I don't think so, because the club signing already the players without or before engaging a coach, it actually means nothing. So it means in that point that the club actually doesn't even need a coach, because if certain people within the club decide to sign certain players without getting the approval of a coach, or without considering getting the advice of coach about the players' profiles or positions, it means that the club doesn't care about the coaching position. So, and they're showing indirectly that for them it's not that important. I find that it's not normal, and I find that all the clubs before hitting the new season, first thing they should do is getting the coach, and then with the coach actually creating the new strategy and the new system and the new whatever you call tactics or approach, how actually the club wants to play. Of course, it depends on a country, it depends on a club, because many clubs around the world, they have their own identity, they have their own system, and actually they're finding the coaches who can fit into that system. This is also different. But speaking about certain markets like ISL, where no club in ISL or I League have no organized system whatsoever, I think that it's not that common, it's not that good that the clubs first go around and sign players, and then later on going around for and looking for a coach, because it brings kind of uncommon situation, unpleasant situation, because the coach arriving later might understand or might realize that some players are not or do not fit into the team, and actually you cannot get rid of them because they are under contract. So I always advise and think that it's the best thing that the clubs first sign the coach and coaching staff, and later on, together with the coaching staff, the management should organize and build up the team. So that's the normal point of view, and that's how it happens all around the world on the highest level.
All right, that's good to hear. So yeah, one other question I have is, what is the weirdest superstition or like the pre-match ritual that a player or even you had before a match or something like that?
Well, many players, they have that. Many people, especially in India, I realized that, like most of people, they are superstitious. I remember being, younger, as a young player. All players, they have their rituals before they go at the game, at the training session. You see many of them in dressing rooms, getting into their prayers or any other rituals. I remember myself when I was younger. As everybody, I suppose, in this world, you're kind of a believer. You believe in something that gives you inner power or motivation. And I remember having those rituals, and then I broke my leg.
Oh,
Okay, so then I said to myself, okay, so it means that it's not working.
yeah.
I will do it now oppositely. So then I did everything oppositely. Then I broke my leg again, and then I stopped doing anything.
Anything.
And I was playing the best football in my life.
Oh.
Without even being concerned about any other things whatsoever. I was enjoying football. Even today, there is one big name, and he was a big coach, and he passed away a couple of years ago, and he was a big player. And he was saying that before the game, staying in the tunnel, there are two lines of players waiting with the referees to go out onto the pitch, and the coaches, everybody is there. And you see both teams, so 11 players and 11 players. You see 22 players. Everybody is like making a cross. Everybody is praying. Everybody is doing something. So if it works, the game should always end up in a draw, right?
Yeah.
Because who is there to say which player is stronger? Understand?
Yep.
There are many people, they believe in certain things. You have many players or coaches, they go before the game, they touch the post, touch the crossbar, touch the line, step in the line.
Yeah.
Because they believe in something, But the moment and the fact that you step onto the pitch, it's about yourself, it's about your action and reaction, it's about how you will react in a certain situation. It's good that you maybe believe in something because it gives you extra motivation or extra power.
Exactly.
But I had different experiences with that. I'm a believer, but I will never say that in some difficult situation, especially in football, I will not say, okay, now God, please help me. No, it's not about that. It's about you on the pitch. Yeah. So, and I repeat, like this big name, his name was Johan Cruyff. Actually, he was the guy. He was the guy. You can Google it. He was the guy who built up
I obviously know
Barcelona.
Johan because I'm a Barcelona fan.
Yeah, so he said, like, when he was coaching Barcelona, he was saying, like, everybody in Spain, especially, they are, superstitious and everything. And he was staying behind the players. Everybody was making a cross. He was saying, if it works, then every game should end up in a draw. Because, but at the end, like I say, I respect that. Everybody can believe and, have his own beliefs or superstitious moments or prayers, or it's welcome. I have nothing against that. And I'm glad to see some players having that inner power or extra motivation, because I respect that.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Looking back at your time at KBFC, coach, was there any particular player that you desperately wanted to sign but unfortunately couldn't? And is there any player like that?
Well, there were some domestic, I'd say, Indian players in ISL that I had the motivation and a will to sign, maybe trying to get them into Kerala Blasters, you know, some quality players. But again, it was not the case because our offers from KBFC were less than the offers that they were getting elsewhere, and it was for us impossible to afford them, you know, because we were always operating on a limited budget, and we could never, there was no chance to compete against some clubs when it comes to salaries and everything. So these players, they choose to go elsewhere. They never arrived in Blasters. But yeah, there are some good players around ISL and I-League that we wanted to approach, wanted to try to sign, but it didn't happen. So, but, you know, it's kind of like always, you have the transfer window and you want to get some players, if possible, you get in talks with them and everything. But at the end, you know, you realize that with the current market financial situation, for us, it was not affordable. We didn't have money to do that.
Yeah, it's a cancer season, but anything can happen. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but you know, this is the law of unwritten law of football. You can afford them or you cannot afford them. That's simple, you know. Or you have an offer, they respect your offer, and they say, you know what, I respect your offer, I would like, but you know, I get something more on the other side, so they go somewhere else. Because at one point of your football professional playing time, it's about the money, it's about financial. So, you know, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Was there any international players in the list?
No, we never. When it comes to international players and signing of foreign players, we always wanted to select and scout our own networks and to get those players from abroad. We never wanted to get some players from another clubs in ISL. So this is how we signed from the beginning. Luna, I remember he was my first signing. Lešković, Pereira Diaz, Alvaro Vasquez, you know, Sipovic, many other foreign players later, Diamantakos, Kalužny, all those players, they were coming out of our network. And actually, we wanted to do that together with our management the way we were thinking it's the best. And I think that those players, they all proved their value. And we think that we were doing that on the correct way. So, but on the other hand, we never wanted, in my time, we never wanted to get some players from another clubs, like, you know, we want to get, no. We always respected, okay, this is not our scouting cell. So we're exploring some other options. Vasquez, Pereira Diaz, who else? Chencho, I remember the Janu, Diamantakos, Kalužny, Pepra. Yeah, you know, we had a couple of good ones, I think. And I think that they proved their value, and many of them, they're still in India.
Yep. On a similar note, what I remember just right now is I think you like the song Kadumkappi a lot. Is it still in your playlist or?
Yeah, it's on a playlist in my car. That's for sure. It's always there.
I was in the stadium once, and all the people were singing the song for you.
Yeah.
I was in the stadium that day, I guess, and it was a really.
But you know what? It happened in the first year when there was still COVID period, and we were living in a bubble, and the competition has been played in Goa, and sitting for 6 months unclosed in a kind of environment, small environment, and I remember even in one period everybody gets infected again. We were sitting in a quarantine with COVID. I was like for 2 weeks in my room, and I was exploring, you know, because it was my first year in ISL in Kerala, and I was exploring many things about Kerala, not only about the culture, food, and I was exploring music and the movie industry and everything. And then listening to those songs, that song actually caught my ear, and I was like, yeah, okay, it's nice, I like it. So I put on my playlist, and since then it kind of became
your anthem
recognizable.
Coach, now the teams started to skip Durand Cup, or they don't give much importance to it. What was your experience in Durand Cup? As I know you were facing rain issues and training pitch issues and all. And what was your experience on that?
I think the Durand Cup, looking at the history and everything, it's important for domestic environment, especially because it comes the Independence Day of 15th of August in Kolkata with the parade and everything. And I understand that the point of government is to organize and have this kind of game period, how we say it. On the other hand, it is not good for the clubs, for the senior teams to participate and play it, because it comes in a period where from the climate perspective and the weather conditions, it's not easy to be in Kolkata in that period. It's very hot, it's very humid. The conditions about the trainings and everything, training grounds are very poor and very poorly organized. You can never get a correct training ground, let's say, time to practice whatsoever. Then the game times is also, it comes sometimes in the afternoon, which for the players is really difficult to perform. Then not a one club in that period has the full squad, which means many clubs in India, they refuse and they don't go and sign foreign players or some other players till the end almost of transfer window, because they don't want to play extra salaries. Then before that, you have the period to prepare for the Durand Cup, but the clubs and the teams are not in the full squad. You don't have the conditions to go and prepare, and yet you are thrown in the Kolkata region to play those games where the players, they're physically not ready. The squads, they're not full, they're not ready. And so actually whatever you show in that Durand Cup, it's not the full face of your squad. So I think that the Durand Cup is mostly and should be mostly for young squads and the teams or the players who did not play a lot, and actually exploring some options, because I remember that we never had the full squad going to Durand Cup. And I remember even in the first 1 or 2 seasons we chose to went to Dubai on a pre-season, because the games, friendly games we were playing in Emirates were more important and more strong than the games we were playing in Durand Cup. Where actually in Durand Cup you play on the bad pitch, you don't have the good condition to practice and to train. Very often you have to practice on the pitch without lines, in the mud, in the water, because it's raining often. And then you are kind of in difficult situations where somebody says you need to perform, but at the end of the day, players are not capable of doing that because they are not 100% ready. You don't have the full squad, and actually anything you show in the Durand Cup, in my opinion, it's not important, because it comes before the season, where it's the most important part for one team to get ready for the ISL season. Yet you have to go and play some competition games, where very often some of your key players get injured and you lose them for the whole season.
Yeah.
So whoever advised me or asked me about Durand Cup, I would never choose. I would never say, let's go and play. It is for the young team, and I think maybe that in that period you give the youngsters some playing time, you see the potential for the upcoming season. Rather than that, okay, I understand and respect that some people, they want to win it because it brings something extra, but apart from some small financial wins, you have no AFC qualification, you have no Asian Cup qualification, so that cup is kind of, just go and participate.
I was saying that now most of the team prefer to skip the Durand Cup and continue their pre-season.
Yeah, but you know what? Because now there is a big issue between the federation and the clubs and the ISL, because you have the AIFF Football Federation and you have ISL, which are two different bodies.
Yeah.
They have issue and they cannot find an agreement for the upcoming season. So now nobody knows if they're going to play ISL next season. They're coming with the solutions, but they have now many meetings up front. They're waiting for the court decision, I think, in July. And then many clubs, like I said, without knowing and without having certainty for the upcoming season, many clubs, they say, why should we sign players, or why should we now pay salaries or go and play Durand Cup and play the costs for the stay, accommodation, pitches and everything, when we don't know what will happen in the season. So then the clubs, they say, you know what, we postpone our pre-season period, we don't go for a Durand Cup, and it's kind of mess. So now, the interest for the cup itself decreases, and the clubs, they say, you know what, we don't get nothing from that. my experience that we got players injured. We didn't have good conditions for training sessions to prepare the team for the upcoming ISL. We were losing players, we were losing precious time, and we were losing money. So actually, you have no profit from it, from Durand Cup. Again, I respect the Durand Cup, I respect the history and everything, but in my opinion, any cup you want to play in Indian football, like all around the world, whether you call it Durand Cup is something, but whether you call the other like Super Cup, International Cup, Masala Chai Cup, Biryani Cup, whatever you call those cups, you should implement them within the season, where actually you start the season, you play 2-3 games, you play the cup game. You play 2-3 games ISL, cup game, 2-3, and this is how it goes. And then you have all the team ready and in the dynamics to play all competition games. For the cup games, if some players you have to rotate, they will be ready to play. Rather than having these cups before the season where nobody's ready, or even worse, after the season where the players already switch off, go to the beach, and then you call them back. Nobody wants to play that. Nobody gives a damn about those cups. Especially the players who are, when they're coming back or playing, they say, you know what, I don't want to play 100%. I was just going to spend a couple of days here. I go back home. So you don't get the professionalism, you don't get the full squad, and you don't get to see full potential of your team, of your players. And, you know, rather than, again, start the season, whatever, with the cup games or competition ISL games, and then you play 2-3 games ISL, 1 cup game, 2-3 games ISL, 1 cup game. This is how it happens all around the world and all other countries around the world. So, but I suppose that AIFF and ISL, they cannot find an agreement about that because they are two different bodies fighting each other, whatever they're doing, you know. And from that point, it's kind of devastating for the clubs and the players because they are losing value, they are losing money, they are losing profit, they are losing anything. So I hope that it will improve. So let's hope.
Yeah. Speaking about the AIFF, I think I've heard a report saying that the national team has an interest in you. Do you have anything to comment on that? Or, I mean, did they or are they?
These are rumors. No,
rumors, all right.
These are only rumors. You know, the rumors are going always around. It's true. You know, I know all the players. I know the competition and everything. But AIFF has many other issues than you know, speaking about national team coach, because first of all, the national team and the federation, they have really good coach. Coach Manolo is a really good coach. And on the other hand, the situation of Indian football and IFF, even if now you bring together Guardiola and Mourinho to be the national team coaches, there will be no results. So the people and the fans and the people of the federation, they're concerned, you know, there are no results. No. First of all, if you want to book and if you want to make results with your senior national team, first you have to organize your youth national teams, which means under 15s, under 17s, under 18s, all the generations. And then with that one super generation on the level of under 17, 18, 19 or 20, you must make one good result in a big tournament. Only like that, you can hope that these boys will grow up to become important players in senior level. If that doesn't happen, the senior national team of India will never have results, will never have good, let's say, ranking spot on FIFA. I was repeating that in previous 3-4 years many times in press conference, saying that the main problem is not about the senior national team or the national team coach. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is the youth education and youth development system in India. The latest example is Qatar, who organized that and qualified for the World Cup. All those things, they happen all around the world for the past 30 years. So already now India is 30 years, 3 decades late, let's say. So if you want to organize a good senior national team, first you have to organize your youth national teams. And by selecting them and practicing with them and educating them and getting them to become good players, you know, tactically and technically capable of playing on the highest level, you can hope that they will grow up to become important senior players. The current situation and the current senior players in national team, they have no value to play on international level against other countries, because that's the difference. They are the best in India. This is true, and that's reality.
Yeah.
So everybody has to say that's the best what India has, but it's not enough when it comes to international level. There are a couple of victories left and right. They can win against Sri Lanka, Maldives, or some other South East Asia countries. But when it comes to a higher level, if we speak about Australia, Japan, South Korea, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, there is no chance whatsoever. So then football is already invented game. Everything is invented. I would sit down and say, okay, how these countries, they are small countries regarding the amount of people. They have less talent than us, than India. Why can't we organize something like that? So for that kind of system and organization within the federation, you need responsibility, you need knowledge. Neither one of those, I think, are present for the moment. It's not about national team coach. It's about how you educate and form first your youth national teams. They will grow up, and these players one day will become, depending on your competition, on your system, important players of senior national team, and they should and they could make a difference on international senior level. If that happens, it will never happen in senior team. If we look at the current situation for the next and upcoming 6 till 8 years, there will be no results in senior national team. No chance. Because there is no system implementing, there are no young players. We in Kerala Blasters, we were doing that a lot, educating a lot of young players, which are all of them now in national teams. So I advise and I would say to all the clubs that they should invest more in training centers, in educating young players. They all speak about increasing the level of foreign players. I would decrease the player of foreign players and oblige the clubs to play with the domestic players and educate them, because in last period they're saying we don't have a striker because you never educated striker.
Yeah.
You know, that's the point. They say we don't have left or full back or right because you never educated one of those. If you build up those players, if you educate them, they will become good. So, you know, in the football world, there is Messi and there are some other big names. They grow up, they become, you know, what they are, and you build up everything around them. For every other position in the football, starting from goalkeeper, fullbacks, defenders, midfields, coaches, they have to build up. You have to educate those players how to move, how to make those movements, timings, and everything. This is coaching job, but that doesn't happen in India for the moment. And I was repeating that thousands of times in press conferences. Who pays the bill at the end? National team. Senior national team will pay the bill, will be devastated. The downfall will be imminent, and that's the case now. So I'm sorry for that, but that's truth and that's reality. So if that system is not implemented with quality people and organization, there'll be no results. Despite the coach is Coach Manolo, Coach Ivan, Guardiola, Mourinho, doesn't matter. It will be the same. That's reality.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I have seen so many nations. I mean, if you take an example of any other nation, let's say Portugal or any other nation, they have a system in place. That's why they have the good players right now.
I live in Belgium. I live in Belgium for 20 years. Belgium started with that system in 2006. And since then, Belgium managed to be 6 years first on FIFA ranking. Football, it's not the sport number one in Belgium. And Belgium is a really small nation.
Yeah, it is.
Not around 11 million people. So many players, big players. Why? Because they organize the system about forming young players within the clubs. And then the clubs, they educate players. They give them platform to play on the competition level with the playoffs, whatever it is. They go to national teams. They go on a higher level. Later, they go make transfers. The clubs, they earn money. They come back to the national teams. They're better players. Okay. I don't expect now some Indian players to go and play abroad immediately, but they must be educated and prepared better in the youth system, youth organization within the clubs, in order to get them more ready for the senior level. Because many of players in ISL, they are not well educated on a tactical and technical way. They suffer a lot, which is not their fault. You know, it's the fault of the system who educated them wrong in previous 10 or 15 years. So, but these things, if you want to improve, it must change. But it's up to federation.
Exactly.
Yeah, coach. We know KBFC versus BFC playoff match. It still sparks debate in media now. You
Okay.
made the tough decision to walk off the field, and the players also supported you. Can you make us through the behind the scenes? Like, was the management also supporting your decision?
Of course, after that happened, I got a support from the management. We got the court case with federation and everything. At the end, federation decided that it was wrong. I paid my financial suspension. I was suspended for many games. The club paid suspension, even though many people from the federation itself on a private interaction with me said that it was referee's mistake, and many people from FIFA and the European referee level, they said, and Champions League level, top level, they told that it was referee's mistake, but at the end the federation decided so, and it was buried with it. So I paid my financial suspension. I was suspended for 10 games, and that was it. But if we speak about our management support, yeah, they were behind me all the time. Later on, we know that these things, they shouldn't be on the football ground, but it was kind of my decision.
You had a huge amount also to pay off now, as a fee.
Financially speaking,
Yeah,
you had like
yeah,
fines and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. The club paid a lot. I paid a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but for me, it's not about the money. I think that it was wrong. So it was kind of my reaction and protest against many bad things that were happening against us. So kind of protest. But anyway, it's far away in the past. Case
yeah.
closed.
But let's say if you had a time machine, would you change anything about that night? If you
Maybe the shoes.
the shoes?
Yeah, maybe I would pick the other shoes, but I would do the same.
That's it.
No, I would not change nothing. Even the shoes would be the same.
All right. Yeah, speaking of the shoes, I think most of the fans connected you with your white shirt because you always wore a white shirt on your matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It started in the first season when we were in the bubble.
mhm.
Because I think in the first 3 games of competition, I was wearing the club's shirt.
Yeah.
And in the first game we lost. Second and third game we draw. Even we were like better, and the fourth game, actually, I think that the fourth game was the first game I was wearing the white shirt, and we won. I don't remember anymore. You should check it out. I don't know. And then again, we are coming back to superstition. And then it started being like, you're wearing a white shirt, it brings luck. Okay, let's do it again. So the next game I put it again, we won. So, and then it started like a cycle. And then we went for, I think, 11 games without defeat.
Yeah, yes,
something like that. Then the famous commentator Shaiju, he sent me the white shirt for the semifinals, asking me to wear it. I wore it, we qualified. So for the finals. So, and it stayed kind of, white shirt brings nice things and memories and luck.
Yeah, that's what I wore. I wore the white T-shirt today.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the blue one.
That's all right. That's all good. So yeah, you were talking about the Kerala food too. I mean, you were exploring all about Kerala and stuff like that. Did you have any specific Kerala food that you liked?
I liked everything.
Everything, all right.
I was trying everything. I remember driving through Kerala on a day off. I was getting in the car, driving around, visiting some towns and cities around Kerala, and then stopping wherever I was seeing people standing in front of the street vendor or street food. I was stopping there. Firstly, the people were confused. Seeing me like, okay, that's not. I think there are levels of spicy, especially for us Europeans.
Yeah.
We are not that common with the Indian spicy level.
Exactly.
So actually, every time I like spicy food.
All right.
I like spicy food. I can bear it. sometimes I remember when the boys from Northeast, they were preparing some really spicy food. It was kind of too spicy for me. But anyway, I was enjoying. So
that's good.
many Europeans in some countries, they don't like it because they don't experience that, and they keep it simple. I say simple, but you know, for example, my brother, he likes it a lot.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but from my side, yeah, I can eat, but you know, I don't have to. You know, I will not say, oh, I need to eat no, but I liked it. I was enjoying some good chili and some good things. Yeah, always.
Yeah, that's really good to hear.
Coach, in your last season with KBFC, there were tremendous number of injuries, but you still made it to the playoff. But then we could see that Ivan will not continue. He came to know that Ivan will not continue at KBFC. Most of the fans, I think, were supportive to you to give one more season for Ivan to prove. Was this decision already made before the end of the season?
But you know what? Like I say, the training conditions and many other conditions that we had were not favorable in the last season. Also, the fact that when we were first on a table, we were pushed and obliged to go and play that Super Cup in January on Odisha, which I was opposing, knowing that we don't have the long bench, we don't have enough players. And even the last day of when we were supposed to go to Odisha, we got a call from accommodation hotels from Odisha saying that we cannot get the rooms. So actually, we were supposed to go to Odisha and play Super Cup 3 games in 10 days without having hotels or training grounds. So then we need to go to Kolkata, to stay in Kolkata for 10 days, to train there for only 2-3 days, and then every time before the game flying back. It destroyed our team. It completely destroyed our team. We got Pepra severely injured. He got operated. Dimi injured. Leskovic injured. You know, Luna was not ready. So actually losing the key players in a key part of the season, in a stupid competition like the Super Cup was there in January, and then we were going towards the season knowing that we have to fight with the kids and with the young players. We have to try to qualify for the playoffs. We managed that, and with the lack of some experience, we lost that game in the playoffs and in extra time, and we didn't qualify for the finals later. So I was still optimistic, and I remember at the last days, you know, talking with the management, saying, even in the beginning when I arrived, analyzing the current situation and everything, I said that the Kerala Blasters will need 3 years of consecutive playing in the playoffs, building up year after year, and then after 4 years, going for a trophy. Even if you remember Jurgen Klopp arriving in Liverpool, he won his first trophy after 4 years.
Exactly.
You know, it needs time. You know, some people in the Indian football, they think that if you go and buy players without even training or practicing, you just go and win the competition. But I'm also realistic in a way. Okay, even if you do that, but if you don't have that simple system implemented, and you just after that season you crash, and like it happened to Hyderabad, who won that finals on penalties against us. After that, they got destroyed, bankrupt. You know, for years they cannot pay the contracts. For years they're struggling bottom table. So if you don't have the system organized, which will bring you year after year on top, and after several years, you can. I told the management that in the 4th year, I think it will be the bingo, you know, for the trophy. After our 3rd season, of course, speaking with the management, we were talking about the next season, preparing and everything, and then at the end, the management decided to release me. So, you know, it was not my decision to leave the club. It was the management decision, and at the end of the day, I wanted to stay to build up further on, because I think that we were on a good path. So now I'm really sorry to see that Kerala Blasters are again suffering. And the 3 years that we were building up something nice, that it crashed, and now it's kind of, you know, back to reset to zero. So I hope and I wish them all the best for the upcoming seasons, of course, to get them to see them back in the playoffs, you know. So I wish them from my heart all the best. Hopefully, I will support.
every coach, I think, needs a 2 or 3 years to build a base core team. I guess so.
But if the team is already built up, if the system is implemented, and if everything, the basics are there, then as a coach, you just need to continue. But when we arrived, that was not the fact. And in many cases in Indian football, in Indian clubs, every new coach arriving to, not only Kerala Blasters, but every new coach arriving to the club or something, you actually realize that you have to start from zero. And it takes time. It takes time. So but in many clubs I see it's only about the tournament. It's only about we want to play, we want to go to playoffs, we want to get the money, and that's it. Without having a vision for the future, system implemented, which at the end again results the disastrous national team. Because when the clubs don't care about those systems and implementing the correct way of working, they don't make that circle educating, building up young players, getting them to the first team and everything, then the national team at the end don't have players. So we wanted to do that in Kerala Blasters because Blasters were suffering for, I think, 5 or 6 years without playoffs, being bottom table. And I remember I was saying in the first season, yeah, we're going to get to playoffs. Everybody was laughing, saying, yeah, okay, we'll see. And then building up further on with quality players and quality foreigners and quality young players, we wanted to make that, every year you have to make that next step. That's how it goes in football. Nothing can happen in the football over one night.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen.
I think the season you came, when you reached the playoffs, the passion in the fans were reignited after so many years. It was so good.
Yeah, it made us feel good, And then I was saying that every year we want to be there to participate in playoffs. We want to build up identity that everybody coming to playing in Kochi against Kerala Blasters will fear and have that feeling like, today it will not be easy. We managed to do that.
Yeah.
And then, creating some good players, some good environment, energy and everything, which actually brought us nice results and nice games. So that was our opinion, our idea about. But of course, at the end, it's about, management decisions and everything. So I respect that. No problem. Again, I wish them all the best from my heart for the future.
Yeah. You are one of the successful coaches in Kerala Blasters history, as you made to playoff 3 consecutive seasons, which is first for them.
Yeah, I think nobody stayed for 3 years. I think never in a history.
No, it's you for the first time.
Yeah.
And do you think was the departure was unexpected for you? As you told, you guys were planning for the next season. Was the departure unexpected from the management side?
But in a football world, especially as a coach, I have one saying where every day I work in the club as I will be working till the end of my life there. But I know that every day I can be fired. So I was working every day in Blasters with all my heart and giving everything, like having in my mind that I will stay there till the end of, for eternity. So that's my vision. On the other hand, when such a thing occurs, like you are getting fired, that's part of the job. In a football, it's not nice, it's not pleasant, because emotionally you get connected to the club, to the people, to community and everything. And it's, of course, it's not a nice feeling. So I was not expecting that. But again, I learned in my life from my experience that in football, you should expect unexpected. So when it happened, I was like, yeah, okay, part of the job. I'm sorry. I feel kind of gutted. It's not nice, but at the end, it's football, part of the job. We are big boys and you have to go with it. So that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, the fans was also surprised after the news.
Yeah, I think everybody was. Everybody was surprised.
They were expecting you for one more season.
Me too. I was expecting to stay one more season and to build up the team with the quality players and consistency and get to the playoffs and get the trophies. So that was our vision and opinion. But at the end, okay, that was the decision of management, and you bear with it, you go with it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is another day. That's football.
Yeah, while you were speaking, what came to my mind was, about a recent thing, Ange Postecoglou just being sacked from Tottenham after being won a trophy. Yeah, just
Yeah,
came to my mind suddenly.
there are
Same.
no rules. There are
Yeah,
no rules in football. You can make good results, you can do everything positive, everything, yet you can be fired. So
yeah,
that's the, let's say, the shit part of football business. Whether you are a coach or a player.
yeah, yeah.
Coach, after the departure, did you had any offers from any other ISL clubs? There were tremendous of rumors.
There are always rumors. The only one concrete was the contact and from East Bengal. Immediately after I left, there were some other clubs as well, but in that moment I didn't want to work. I wanted to take 1 year off to stay with my family, because there was somebody in my family struggling with cancer. Then in the past more than 10 years I was not spending a lot of time with my family, and I was thinking, you know what, I'm just seeing these people going away from this world. I'm not spending enough time with them, so I just wanted to get more time and to be with them. So actually I was refusing all those offers last summer. Even now, in the past 20 days or 1 month, I was refusing some offers, not only from ISL but from some other countries, because I think that it's still not the time or not a good option. So we'll see now. Maybe something will happen. I will get back in the business. If not, then again, I'll be sitting down, chilling out, and waiting for some opportunities. Yeah, but the only one concrete, and back when I quit, it was immediately because people from East Bengal, they were saying that there are many players from Kerala Blasters playing in East Bengal, and but at the end I was grateful for their call and everything. I explained them the situation, they understood, and they said, yeah, no hard feelings.
All right.
If you still get a chance to come back to ISL, would you?
Yeah, I like the league. I like ISL league. It's a nice competitive league, and I like being there. And not only because of the league and competition, but because, like I said, as a coach, I like to contribute to the fact of educating young players. Helping them becoming better, understanding better the game and everything, and it gives me good feeling. I like the environment. So if there is a possibility and some good option, yeah, who knows? Maybe we could see each other again.
Hopefully, yeah.
One more segment, the fans question. Can I ask if you have
Okay.
time?
Are they difficult? Are they difficult or a good one?
No.
Okay.
It's the fans questions. When we posted it on our Instagram, the fans ask.
Okay. Fire away.
So, okay. Whose pick was Adrian Luna? It was yours or management's?
I was with the management. How we were working, I was always advising the management the profiles that we need for the team, and then the management goes around and find the options. So the management found Luna, and then we were watching him like together, and I said, I want him. Sign him immediately. So he was our first signing. But actually it was like together. I was like deciding like, okay, this is the profile. Management was showing me possible options. Luna was among those, I don't remember how many, 7 or 8 possibilities. And then when I saw him, I said, no, that's it, sign him. So that was it. He's playing in Mexico, because it's a tough league. It's a men's league, it's very difficult to play. When I saw the way he was playing in Mexico, I said, that's it. He will fit in India. So yeah. Then the management made all the possible things to sign him. So, but we were working together like that, always deciding which profiles we need for the team, and then the management and the scouting cell, they go and find options. I was not going around, and so then when they found options, we sit down together, we watch all those possibilities players, and then we say, okay, that's the one.
Yeah. So my next question is, who was the player that always set the standard with his punctuality, like in the training ground or in the team meetings, or who comes first with his punctuality?
Well, many of them. When we were building up our teams, I was always looking first of the human qualities, because first of all, we are human beings. If you as a human being not correct or not positive, or you are not, let's say, within the things that we are looking for, you cannot be part of our team. So Luna was one of the great examples. Lešković, Cabra, Jessel, I remember. Alvaro, Jorge, many players, even domestic, even international, they were all, I think, correct profiles for our team. So I could not just say one or two of them, so many of them. I'm really happy to having all of them, really. They were all good boys.
Yeah. What was the main reason choosing ISL? What was the main reason choosing Kerala Blasters?
What was the main reason to sign in Kerala Blasters for me?
Yeah. What was the main reason to come to ISL?
Okay, I remember in that period of my life having two offers on the table, one from Saudi Arabia, the other one from Emirates. And then people from management from Kerala Blasters called with the director Karolis and the owners. And then we had a chat, video call, because it was a COVID period. And I had a feeling, that I want to be there. I wanted to work with them. And then, actually, before we had that video call, when we got exchanging of informations, I researched everything about the club, Kerala Blasters, about fans, about Kerala state. And when I saw everything about the fans, energy, emotion, everything, I said, you know what? I just want to be there. I want to be there. So I think that mostly thanks to fans and that emotion around the club and everything, I decided to even Kerala Blasters offer was the, let's say, less lucrative. It was for the less money, but anyway I decided to be in Kerala Blasters.
Oh, that's really good to hear, Coach. I mean, yeah, it's been a great journey with you, and
Thanks.
great moments
Thanks.
here.
Yeah, thanks to fans and all the energy, emotions we build up together. So many games we won thanks to them.
Yeah, the fan atmosphere was really, really great.
Yeah.
And Aathiq, any more questions from the fans?
Actually, that was the only, that was the main reason, because I grew up in the environment of one club in my country, where we have similar fan base or similar atmosphere. So when you grew up in that environment, you want always to be, because that's what pushes you to be the best.
Yeah. So, Coach, I guess we are running out of time again. So,
okay, guys. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you for joining us and sharing all the stories.
The first person came to your mind was you to invite, and thank you for.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for calling me. It was a pleasure. I wish you guys all the best for the future now and for the project.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully, we'll meet again.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, we meet again in Kerala.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All the best. Bye.
All right. Thank you. See you. Bye.